Ah, yes, it is finally that time of year again, the time of year that I always start yet another Skyrim playthrough. So let's light up our pine-scented candle and take a ride, shall we?
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
This guy again. Look, you know the drill by this point. I'm on this pretty wooden wagon. I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing, but what I do know is that this city is gorgeous, and I have the sneaking suspicion someone is about to violate my constitutional rights.
You're not gonna kill me!
Captain, what should we do? He's not on the list.
Forget the list. He goes to the block.
You say the same.
Well, for some reason, I have a feeling I'm not among friends here. Thankfully, though, just before this nice giant man could lob off my head, this flying lizard came and saved me. Now you're probably thinking I was excited to get loose so that I could fight and do— No, I ran. I ran literally everywhere. I didn't fight any of the Imperial Guards, the soldiers. I didn't fight anyone. I just wanted to get the absolute hell out of here and start an honest day's work. Now, to add a little bit of challenge to the video, I've decided to turn on survival mode, meaning that we're going to need to sleep, eat, and drink, which also means we're going to have to spend some of the money that we earn honestly. Now, damn near immediately, we began with some of this honest work in the form of hunting. Now, I know what you're saying. What were you hunting with? I was hunting with my fist, and it proved to be fairly effective. And just like that, we had some items we could sell for some honest gold, but I wouldn't stop there as I immediately jumped into the river and began catching some fish for the same purpose as well as food. And I would continue doing this for quite a while. After some time though, I did eventually enter Riverwood and immediately made a beeline for the inn. That way I could speak with the proprietor of this fine establishment about a transaction. And by selling him some of the fish we caught in the river, we made our first pieces of gold. I did, however, forget to sell the pelts and rabbit legs or whatever, so whatever. I did, however, ask this handsome fella if he knew of any work in the area, because of course that's what we're looking for, and he ended up giving me a letter from the Jarl to anyone that would clear out a bandit camp. Well, I wasn't really ready for that, so instead I decided to run around the village looking for someone who would employ me, and luckily I ran into Hod, who was apparently the owner of the local lumber mill, and he decided to give me employment and a free axe. And now, my friends, it's time for the wood cutting montage. And you know, honestly, I loved my new job, except for the fact that Hod's wife was always checking me out while I was cutting wood. Blech. But you know, honestly, we had made a good bit of coin at the end of the day, and I suppose that was the most important part. We of course got a room at the inn as it was the only place we could stay, but before retiring for the night, we decided to listen to some good music. Ah, that's the good stuff. Anyhow, though, off to bed we go. We awoken feeling well rested, ready for yet another day of honest work. But I had to stop for a second because honestly, I forgot just how beautiful this game really is. Ugh, it makes me want to kiss Todd Howard right on his little mouth. Speaking of cheap thrills though, we ended up selling the remainder of our firewood, and with the gold that we got from that, I ended up buying a bow and arrow. Alright, enough of that. Let's do some hunting. Well, that sure was fun, but unfortunately we wasted most of the day away hunting, and unfortunately we also made very little money off of that, so I think we'll stick to splitting wood. We would have an endless cycle of cutting the wood, selling the wood, and then cutting the wood some more for a pretty little penny. And you know, honestly, we would just continue doing this up until around about nighttime before we retired to our nice cozy room at the inn. Of course, before going to bed though, we would end up stocking up on some supplies so we didn't starve to death and or die of thirst. I also decided to try my hand at alchemy just a little bit and ended up managing to make a potion of resist frost. No doubt this is worth a pretty little penny. I ended up finding a book on top of the wardrobe in my room and reading it as a little bedtime story before finally dozing off. Although after I awoke, it turns out that I'm actually starving, mostly because I've been a complete cheapskate and I've been trying not to spend a lot of money on food because I want to save up as much money as possible, so I've kind of not been spending a lot of it on food and whatnot. You get the point, I'm starving to death basically. But thus far, we have managed to earn a small but pretty little penny, and the best part about it, it was all earned through honest work. And I apologize because I realize this video is extremely brief compared to most of my other videos, about half the length or so, but this is more of a test to see if this is something you guys really like, and you know, if you do, maybe we could turn this into a very small series or a long series, just depending on how well the video does, so yeah, but I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed. Goodbye.